No one noticed the old woman collapse. Hundreds of people rushed past her at the train station, businessmen staring at phones, students laughing with friends, security guards looking the other way, except one boy, barefoot, hungry, and carrying the weight of a life that had already broken him. He didn't know who she was. He didn't know what helping her would cost him. But the next morning, 3 black SUVs rolled into his street, and the entire city stopped breathing. Act 1. The boy no one saw. 16-year-old Ayan had learned something early in life. If you are poor, you are invisible. Every morning, he stood near the old railway station with a small wooden box tied to a rope around his neck. Inside were cheap ballpoint pens, keychains, and a few packets of tissues. That was his shop. That was his survival. His father had died 3 years earlier in a factory accident. His mother worked as a housemaid in 3 homes but still came back each night with swollen feet and empty hands. Allah will provide, she always said. But Ayan knew better. Provision didn't fall from the sky. It came from aching legs and silent hunger. That morning, the station was louder than usual. Train horns screamed. Vendors shouted. Announcements echoed like warnings from the sky. Ayan had sold only 2 pens since sunrise. His stomach burned. Act 2, the collapse. It happened near platform 4. An elderly woman, well-dressed, graceful, with silver hair neatly tied back, stood holding a small leather handbag. She looked around, confused. Her hand trembled. She took 1 step forward, then another, and suddenly, she collapsed. Her handbag hit the ground. Papers spilled everywhere. People gasped and moved away. Someone will help, a man muttered. I'm late, said another. A security guard glanced over, then turned back to his phone. Ayan froze. His heart started racing. He had seen people collapse before, usually drunk men, sometimes beggars. But this was different. The woman's eyes were half open. Her lips were pale. Without thinking, Ayan dropped his box and ran. Act 3. A choice that changed everything. Auntie, can you hear me? He said softly. No response. Ayan remembered something his mother once told him. If someone faints, loosen their scarf. Give them water. Call for help. He looked around. Please, someone help, he shouted. No one came, so he acted. He loosened her scarf, lifted her head gently, and ran barefoot to a water vendor. Bia, please water. I'll pay later. The vendor hesitated. Ayan grabbed the bottle and ran back. He sprinkled water on her face. Moments passed. Then, she coughed. Her eyes fluttered open. She looked at the boy kneeling beside her, shaking with fear and hope. Where am I? She whispered. You fainted, Auntie, Ayan said. Please don't move. She tried to sit up. No, stay, he said firmly, surprising even himself. People finally gathered. An ambulance was called. As paramedics lifted her onto a stretcher, she grabbed Ayan's wrist. Her grip was surprisingly strong. What's your name, Beta? She asked. Ayan, he replied. Thank you, she said. I won't forget this. Ayan smiled. Then reality hit. He had lost his entire day of selling. Act 4, back to poverty. That night, Ayan returned home with empty pockets. His mother looked at his face and understood. No sales today? She asked gently. He shook his head. But I helped someone, he said quietly. She smiled and kissed his forehead. Then today was not wasted. Ayan slept hungry but peaceful. He didn't know cameras had recorded everything. He didn't know the woman was not ordinary. He didn't know the city was about to learn his name. Act 5, the woman's secret. The elderly woman's name was Mrs. Zareen Khanna. She was not just rich. She was powerful. Founder of one of the largest railway infrastructure companies in the country. A woman who sat with ministers. A woman whose signature moved millions. When she regained full consciousness at the hospital, the first thing she asked was, "Find the boy." Her assistants looked confused. "What boy, madam?" "The poor boy, barefoot. He saved my life." Security footage was pulled. Within hours, her team knew everything. Where Ayan stood, what he sold, where he lived. Mrs. Khanna closed her eyes. In a world full of educated cowards, she said, that boy had courage. Act 6. The next morning. The next morning, Ayan woke to shouting. His neighbors crowded outside their narrow street. 3 black SUVs stood there like something from a movie. Men in suits, dark glasses, walkie-talkies. Ayan's mother clutched his arm. "What have you done?" she whispered in fear. A tall man stepped forward. "We are looking for Ayan Khan." The entire street went silent. Ayan stepped out. "I'm Ayan," he said, voice shaking. The man smiled respectfully. "Our madam would like to see you." Act 7. Face to face with destiny. Inside the luxury hospital room, Ayan felt small. Machines beeped softly. Mrs. Khanna smiled when she saw him. "You came," she said. "You called." Ayan replied honestly. She laughed. "You're brave," she said. "Do you know what bravery is?" He shook his head. "It's doing the right thing when no one is watching." She reached for a file. "I want to help you." Ayan stepped back. "I didn't help you for money." She nodded. "I know. That's why you deserve it." Act 8. The test. Instead of giving him cash, she offered something else. Education, a scholarship, a future. But first she tested him. She asked about his dreams. "I want my mother to rest," he said. "I want to study. I want to help people like you helped me." Mrs. Khanna's eyes filled with tears. She had sons with degrees, but none with a heart like his. Act 9. A life transformed. Within weeks, Heavy Checkmark Ayan was enrolled in a top school. Heavy Checkmark, his mother received medical care. Heavy Checkmark, their home was repaired. Heavy Checkmark, his story went viral. But Ayan didn't change. He still bowed his head, still helped others, still remembered hunger. Act 10. Years later, powerful ending. 10 years later, a new railway hospital opened. A man in a suit stood at the podium. "Today, we dedicate this hospital to compassion," he said. His nameplate read, Dr. Ayan Khan. In the front row, an elderly woman smiled. The same woman who once collapsed at a station. Sometimes, one kind act doesn't just change a life, it changes generations.